This is the time in the NFL season where all the teams are going, who are we? What's our identity? What do we lean on in the tough times? Did the WFP ever figure out their identity? We'll talk about that next.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me.
It's lunchtime. What's going on, everybody? Trent Olive in the house, Corey Leonard, Joseph Ramirez, and Vicky. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. It is a Monday, Cyber Monday after Thanksgiving. Back to work. I'm back to work for the first time since Wednesday afternoon. What's up, Andrew Sten? Jonathan Ortega. Yeah, so back at it today. Kind of getting back into the groove. So, anyway, good that you all are here. Don't forget, speaking of Cyber Monday, Thirdzy, our sponsor, deals are still going on until tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern time, up to 50% off site-wide. The more you buy, the higher the percentage. And code Jazzy gets you free shipping on anything you buy on Cyber Monday. So, Thirdzy.com/Jazzy. Use the promo code Jazzy at checkout. Free shipping to get the best sleep and recovery supplement in the business. We all use it on this show. We all love it. You can do it hot or cold. It is melatonin free. It's got the great grass-fed collagen in it to help you recover from your tough workouts. And we're all trying to get back on track after Thanksgiving. Best way to do that is get a good night's sleep. Do that with Thirdzy, Thirdzy.com/Jazzy. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. it ends. Thank you guys for all of that. All right. First thing is first. One thing I saw yesterday that was really funny is, Jonathan Ortega, why are you buying on Cyber Monday? What am I buying? The thing I just bought was Paper Street Coffee running their $150 gift cards for $50. You can't beat that. Every year I dive into that. That is the coffee I drink all year round. And he's not even a sponsor. I just love Paper Street Coffee. I love Gabe. I jump into the Cyber Monday deal every year to get the $150 gift card for $50. Can't beat it. So, Corey Leonard, I'm about to get that Paper Street Coffee 50 for $150. It's the best deal out there, man. If you drink that coffee, you've got to get that. Amazon has 2 mini mics for $66. I did buy a new hard drive. I go through portable hard drives like crazy. And so I bought a new hard drive, a new case for those, and it also is a case that holds all my SD cards. So I got that. I have a set of Rode mics. Jonathan, that's what I use. They still work great. So that's awesome. Corey Leonard, his Thirdzy is on the way. The DJI mics. I heard DJI. I hear they're great. I splurged on some Rode ones a couple years ago. They work great for me, and they work with all my equipment, so I'm good with those. But I heard the DJI mics are just much easier to use, so maybe when these ones go bad, I'll go with those. And David Reed, I'll read this, but I don't want to. Big shout out to them Buckeyes. Also, big shout out to Penn State, who became bowl eligible in a season that we did not think that was going to be possible. And they get to actually play in a bowl game. And I'm just excited about that. Jonathan, mine broke, so I got new DJI. Yeah, I think that's where I'll go to once mine go down, because I've heard such good things about the pairing and all of that. So I'll probably switch over to those. So anyway, with that, fun thing. Terry says, "Go Bucks." Man, I get enough of that living here in Columbus. I don't need any more of that on my show. I'm going to start banning Buckeye talk on here. First thing I wanted to talk about is I got to get to it. Here we go. So I don't know if you guys saw this on the barbell spin, and this came out last night. The barbell spin post. Whoops. Sorry. There we go. The barbell spin posted the news that Danielle Brandon had withdrawn from the WFP at 7:30 p.m. 1 hour later, CrossFit on their workout of the day posted a picture of Danielle Brandon at the games. And Spin put out, "Is this a coincidence?" And so I DM'd Spin back and I was like, if this is CrossFit trolling, then we've got the right people back in charge and we're going in the right direction. And I love, God, I hope they're trolling. I hope they're trolling, because if they're trolling, that means they're getting some confidence back in that they are the league to follow, and they're trolling the other league saying, yeah, checkmate. I really feel like if CrossFit is truly trolling the WFP, we are winning. And I hope to God, because there's nothing wrong with a little bit of pettiness, just a little bit. You don't want it to get to full blown cockiness again. But a little bit of pettiness is pretty damn cool. And I hope and I pray to God that they are just being a little bit petty, saying, hey, she competed at our finals. Here's a picture of it. Just saying. I would really, really love it if they were trolling and being that petty. I'm anxious to hear your thoughts. Is it too petty? Is it something they shouldn't be doing? Or are you fine with them trolling the WFP if in fact that's what they're doing? And I can't imagine they're not. It would be too wild of a coincidence to not be trolling. But I'm truly excited to see what your guys' thoughts are. And do you think that this is heading in the right direction? Because this is the kind of stuff that will bring eyes to the sites, to the socials, to all. They need to do the little things to bring eyeballs back to all of their accounts. And I hope that's what they're doing. So throw your thoughts in the chat. Dylan Lowen, I dig the thumbnail. I do too. It came out really well. It's a picture I took of Ariel at the games this year. I asked ChatGPT to make it a comic book cell, and I thought it came out awesome. I'll send you the picture standalone after the show, Dylan. So there is that. What else do we got on tap? One more thing before we get into the WFP and their identity, and that is I said last night maybe, and also in a chat this morning, that Maribel was retiring and then came out of retirement to accept the bid to WFP. I read the translation because she made a post yesterday in Spanish. I had it translated. I don't know if she edited it since then or if the translation was just off, but I do want to clear this up because she was not retiring. Here's her post with the translation on Instagram. And it says, we're back on track. I'm going to try to blow this up more. Here we go. We're back on track, and this time big at the World Fitness Project final in Copenhagen. And yes, it caught me by surprise, just like you a few days ago, but I couldn't resist this invitation so close to home because this one is at least in Europe. It's been a complicated few months with everything that happened to me, and I wasn't planning on competing anymore this year. When I initially translated this, it said I wasn't planning on competing anymore, and that this year was not there. So that's where I got messed up. And that's where I thought she was retiring. Here, she was just done for the season. And people have reached out to me and said that I messed up. So I wanted to face up to that and that bit there. But this was originally posted in Spanish. I had it translated and made a mistake there. So there is that. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is, I'm a big football fan. Everybody knows that. I'm a big Chicago Bears fan. And all weekend, the Bears are riding this high of going into Philadelphia and smacking Philadelphia in the mouth. And they did that by their offensive line completely dominating the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line and pushing them off the ball, giving their running backs plenty of running space before they ever made contact with anybody. And everybody's saying the Bears know their identity now. Their identity is with this big, strong offensive line, moving people off the ball. And because they know who they are, and a team like the Eagles they don't know who they are. They don't know if they're a passing team or a running team or whatever, that the Bears are a dangerous team to play because they know who they are. They know their identity. And what made me think about this in the CrossFit space is I think that CrossFit is moving back in a direction where they're moving back towards what their identity has always been. We're talking about forging elite fitness. We have Pukey the Clown back. We may be trolling the WFP online, and CrossFit knows who they are, and they know they're the biggest show in town, and they know what their strengths are. I think what happened with the WFP is Lazar died, and they said, we're going to capitalize this. We're going to make a new league, and we're going to make it the way that everybody has said they wanted it for years. And to get athletes to come over to their league, they told them whatever they wanted to hear to get them to sign on the dotted line with a contract. The problem is they did this to start a league because of a tragedy that happened at the CrossFit Games. But they avoided saying that. Instead of saying who they are and owning who they are, they skirted around that. And then they came out with these catchphrases and these analogies that really they didn't believe in, or they didn't even, I don't know. So by the athlete, for the athlete, by the athlete, whatever it is. Nobody believed that at WFP. Nobody believed that they could let the athletes run the show, but they told them what they wanted to hear to get them to sign on the dotted line, because they felt if they could get a roster full of the top athletes in the world, they could compete with the CrossFit Games. But they never said they were competing with the CrossFit Games. So they never let people know what their identity was. Everything was what you wanted to hear to get you to watch. Everything was to get you to sign on the dotted line, whatever you wanted to hear. And that's where they made the mistake, because they didn't even believe what they were saying. I don't think the people behind WFP are bad people. They just don't know how to run a business or run an organization, because you have to have something that you believe in and that you push forward. Go back and watch the interviews of Greg Glassman in like 09 and 11 and 12. He knew what CrossFit was. He knew what he wanted to accomplish. There was no doubt in anybody's mind what Greg Glassman was doing and why he did it. And he explained it to a T every opportunity he got. When you look at the WFP, they've never sat down and told you what their identity is. They thought just by bringing in the big names, they could bring in eyeballs, and it didn't happen. Every time someone hears a rumor or pushes a rumor and hears it, they say it's a smear campaign against them, and then it turns out that the rumor's true. And then they're backstepping. Everything is just, and I see it in the comments. Vicky saying it was a word salad from the beginning. I don't know if word salad is the right way to put it. I think they just had empty promises, because it was saying whatever you wanted to hear to get you to buy in. But then when you went to watch the show, or you went to see what they were doing, or you saw their posts and you saw that none of the promises were coming true. And then those promises become hollow and more hollow and more hollow. And as the season goes on, now we're at the finals, and the promises are so hollow, and the money is so negligible to some of these athletes that it's not even worth their time anymore. It's not even worth their time. They may be pissed at what CrossFit is doing. They may not like some of the things that CrossFit is doing, but the fact of the matter is they have the best season. They have the best competition at the games, and they give out the most glory at the end for winning. And that is just known. It is not a promise. It is not something they hope to give you. It is, if you win the games, you are going to get the glory for winning the games. You are going to get the eyeballs on you for winning the games. All that is fact. Flat out fact. It's not a promise. It's not an empty promise. It's what you're getting. And maybe this is an unpopular take, and it's in the safest environment that there is. Yes, they had an accident, but go watch other competitions compared to the CrossFit Games. Look how stable everything is around there. The logistics of everything in general are so far above everywhere else. So far above everywhere else. Yes, an accident happened. And yes, they needed to investigate, and they needed to do those things so it never happens again. But it is the safest place where these competitions take place. It is the place where you're going to get the most eyeballs on you. It is the place you're going to get the most exposure, and it's the place that's going to make you a star. They're losing the big names as fast as they sign them. Big names want to be in the big show. That's the games. I think it's more than that, Larry. I think it's when you're fed all these promises, and as it moves forward, those promises start to ring hollow. Your faith in that organization and your faith for them to do anything for you is lost, because it's all empty. When you go to an event like this and they're promising you all these eyeballs, and you see a fourth of the crowd full, like there has to be no confidence in that. It looks like a local comp in the stands. Vicky says, yeah, but Scott, it's all about transparency. She said sarcastically. That's my biggest issue. Nothing has been transparent until a leak is confirmed. Even then, sometimes they aren't. Bothers me. Okay. Is that about the WFP, or are you talking about the CrossFit? Jake, it's why the Olympics is the biggest show on earth. Legacy. Yes. Yes. Jonathan Ortega, I'm still staying on the fact that nobody wants to spend Christmas competing or stuck in Sweden. Vicky clarifies it's WFP. Yeah, I think that's a part of it. But I think that if you believed in what you were doing, you would make that sacrifice. NBA players play on Christmas. NFL players play on Christmas. They do it because they believe in the organization that surrounds them. And nobody believes in what the WFP is doing for them anymore. And so the juice is not worth the squeeze. They are not willing to go on Christmas because they're not getting anything out of it anymore. When the cost is higher than the price, most people get hesitant. I went to the Olympics means more than I won the world championships. Not saying it should, but it does. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Jake. I agree. Grace, Scott, that's silly. Those players play for the money. I think that is a cop out to say that about professional athletes. To put your body through what they go through in a year, it has to be more than about the money. And if you're just playing for the money, you're probably going to suck and your team's probably going to suck. You have to play for the love of the game. If you're not playing for the love of the game and you're not putting everything you can into it, then you're going to see subpar results. Jake has an Olympic wife bias. Yeah, I would too. But growing up as a swimmer, like the Olympics were everything. You know, when you have those dreams as a kid that maybe someday you can hit the big, you never said, I want to be a world champion. Now, like I did have the dream of making it to the nationals and competing at nationals to compete here in the States. But then the next dream isn't world championship. It's definitely Olympics in those sports. And I've talked to Carolyn, like back when there was no pro women's hockey league, like the dream was the Olympic hockey team in Canada. And that's the only thing that mattered back then. Larry Young, WFP doesn't realize it has opened the door for CrossFit to reintroduce itself. I think it can be a big open year. I think the open is going to be much bigger than it was last year. I think I've said on here that I think a 25% increase is not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's actually more likely that there will be a 25% increase in open signups this year. And I'm excited to see those signups. I hope that happens. Jake says Open 26 will be the biggest yet. I don't know if I can go that far. What was 2018 like? 400,000, 400, 450, somewhere in there. I'd like to see that. That'd be awesome. Corey Leonard, I looked it up yesterday. Last year we had 233K. I think this year we will smash that number. I think we can get over 300K this year. Jake says in 2018 people signed up because their affiliates told them to. That's possible. Grace 1540. I hope that's true. And this is just one person's experience, but all the CrossFit gyms near me are struggling with membership. That's crazy. Cause here in Columbus, that is not the case. All the CrossFit gyms are doing very, very well. CrossFit Polaris is killing it. My friend's gym in Powell is killing it. My old gym in Dublin, Ohio is killing it. I think I think a lot of the bad gyms have been weeded out during this whole time. So maybe that's where I'm not seeing it, is some of the gyms have closed and maybe they should have closed. Maybe it's back to the strong survive and we have the best with what's left and their memberships are doing very, very well. Jenny says 429,000 in 2018, according to the Morning Puke Bucket. So yeah, I would love that. I hope it's over 300 grand. I think that's a good goal to have. And maybe like Larry says, we'll get to 350. I think bringing quarterfinals back is a huge step because I know a lot of people that was their goal. Their goal was to be top 25%. It was a reachable, doable goal. And I think that getting rid of that actually lost us a lot of people. Valens Media, it's hard to convince people to sign up last year at my affiliate. Yeah, last year I was trying to get people to sign up at Polaris and it wasn't happening. I would talk to people and it just was a blah year. And these are people that don't even like watch the games. And then the Polaris programs the open anyway. So you're doing the workout. It's $20 freaking dollars. Like, okay. Struggling gyms should be the first people convincing their members to sign up. It is the best tool we have for retention. Great point. Frida, you're in Europe, correct, Frida? Sadly, I've heard some affiliates de-affiliating against their members' wishes. I know that has happened in the States where affiliates have de-affiliated and people then have left. People have left those to go to a CrossFit affiliate. So yeah, Frida is in Sweden. I think Europe has taken the Lazar thing way harder than it's being taken in the States. I have no empirical evidence to prove that other than just kind of the way things have been flowing, but that's kind of where I am. Sadly, okay, we already did that one. The open needs to give people that reason to do the open because that makes people want to get in an affiliate. Yeah, but I think the affiliate owners are the big catalyst behind that. The biggest influence are gym owners and coaches. Their passion is reflected by their members. Three new members staying for a year pays for the affiliation fee. My gym has an affiliate inside of, but also offers boot camp type classes and yoga. Yoga and boot camp classes have a wait list. Sometimes evening weekday CrossFit classes get canceled because they are empty. Where are you located? And I like Jeremy's response. What are your owners doing about it? Is it their priority? Is your owner's priority the other classes and not CrossFit? Is that why people are going to those because that's where their priority lies? Are they giving the same effort at the CrossFit classes? I mean, if I'm walking into a gym and I notice that this class that I'm in is kind of like an afterthought, of course I'm going to leave. So you're in Pittsburgh, huh? That's usually a really strong area. They have a pretty strong media presence, podcast, Black Friday deals, etc. I don't think you get retention through a Black Friday deal, but Um, but podcast is a good way. Um, if members join since 2020, they probably don't have the same connection to the open. It's up to the owners to make them care. Yeah, my old gym did we split the gym into teams and made the open a competition, and then we have a big party afterwards where we would have a barbecue or a cookout or go to a venue and have like a big group dinner together, and they would hand out awards for like MVP, most improved, and they would hand out the trophy to the team that won the open competition. The open became the biggest thing in that gym every year, and it became the priority of that gym to have this big community event following the open. And we would have 150 people signed up for the open every single year, minimum, because of that. A lot of people in my CrossFit just do CrossFit because they like the group class setting, but they don't care about the methodology sport. They don't care about the open. Yeah, I do think it's on the affiliates to make it matter. Uh, Larry, that's why I keep bringing it up. We need to push the open, but I agree the old open had a lot love jazz around it. Vicky, with only a few years in, I can honestly say that I have a connection to the open and the season more because of the podcast than in my gym. That's sad. That's really sad. Um, I'll say it's weird. Polaris was owned by Christy Aramo O'Connell. When she was competing, the open actually had less push from them because it was the beginning of her season. Now people would go watch her and people would kind of compete around it. And all the classes on Fridays were the open workout. But when she sold the gym, the new owners made it into a bigger event for the community because it wasn't just about the one athlete in the gym. And this is not to dog on Christy or anything like that. Um, this was just about like how it was there. And she would have friends come in that were also games athletes to compete with her and to compete against her. And that became more the viewable experience than it was the community. But I think that now that she has sold the gym and the new owners have taken over, that has changed dramatically into now it's more about the community. And it just shows how the affiliate owner themselves can change the dynamic of what the open is for their specific gym. Um, we even have a leaderboard for the gym, but the only people who sign up for that are people that sign up for the open. Yeah, see, my old gym, Shred CrossFit in Dublin, Ohio, they made the open a priority. It was, I kid you not, like almost the entire gym signed up for the open. You were split into 4 or 5 teams. You all had a different color. They would make up shirts for each color with something representing that year's open, and you would wear your shirt to represent your team. People would come cheer you on because they were your teammate. It was crazy because they prioritized it that way. They didn't just put up a leaderboard. It was an active it was an active philosophy of the gym owner to make that time of year special and to make it bigger than just this thing and I say bigger than this worldwide thing. But in our gym, most of the people did not even care about the rest of the world. They cared about beating the people in the gym. They made this internal thing so huge that everybody participated. Jeremy, I do not know what Christy's doing now at all. I think she's just trying to live her best life. I think she's moved. But even though I went to her gym, it's not like we hung out and stuff like that. So, it also just seems like a trend in fitness right now. Cardio, lightweight, high volume training is hot right now. My gym has a lot of young people, and those are the type of classes they are interested in. But I think when you look at all those other types of fitness, and we kind of started this whole conversation on this, is what is your identity? I think, and it was said in the chat, like the people like High Rocks, I don't think they have an identity. They don't have what CrossFit has. CrossFit knows who it is, and we're getting back to that. We're getting back to the roots of that. I don't think High Rocks has that. WFP definitely doesn't have that. They don't know who they are, and they don't know where to lean when times are tough. We have finally figured out, for the first time since 2020, where we can lean when times get tough. We're not fully there, and there's all these questions with a sale or new ownership, but we're at least, the people there are trying to get us back to the roots of what CrossFit is. Vicky, we do a big Saturday thing, but no, I know not a lot of people register, etc., and no one makes a big deal about it. That's the problem. The owners at my old gym made a big deal about it. It was talked about for 6 weeks prior to the open. It wasn't an afterthought. It wasn't just a scheduling thing. It was, hey, we're going to make t-shirts. We're going to have a draft. We're going to make cool things for everybody. This is our Christmas at our affiliate. The open is our Christmas, and we're going to make everybody feel special. It was more than an afterthought. It can't just be, we're going to schedule some time on a Saturday. It's got to be bigger than that if you want it to grow. Jeremy, who has worse online grammar, Ken or Larry? I don't know. I'm a big guy. I'm glad, like, if I'm not at a laptop, I try not to chat because my big fingers do not do well on a phone. These stories are why in the past I've shied away from other fitness trends coming into the CrossFit gyms. If the owners aren't doing a good job prioritizing CrossFit, that other trend will take over. Amen, brother. Larry admits that he's probably the worst grammar. So back on, just to sum this up, right? We talked about the identity. Knowing who you are, knowing what you're good at, and knowing how to lean into what you're good at is what is going to make you successful. The WFP comes into the world based on a fact that someone died at the CrossFit Games and they wanted to compete against CrossFit, yet they would not admit that that is what they wanted to do. So their true identity was, we want to take down CrossFit. We want to compete with CrossFit. Yet, because they were afraid to say it, they couldn't make that their identity. And because they couldn't make that their identity, they had to promise things that they could not fulfill. And because they could not fulfill on those promises, then we've gone into this spiral where nothing is working for them. They can't even get out of their own way because they would not lean into the identity of who they are and what they wanted to be, because they were afraid to say it. And because they were afraid to say it, we're where we are today. But we're going to get a season 2. We have 2 big sponsors giving millions of dollars to them. Adidas and Red Bull threw money at them. It's enough to get them another season. Let's see if they can be self-aware. Let's see if they can make the changes that they need to make. But if they continue to try to go down this route, they're not going to have anybody show up at all. Unless they make it a reality show. That's the only way out. That's my take. With that, guys, I got to get back to work. It is Cyber Monday. Take advantage of all the deals out there, especially that Third Z deal at thirdz.com/jazzy, and get free shipping on the deals that they are running until 10 p.m. tomorrow night. With that, love you all. Thank you so much for the great conversation. Sign up for the Open as soon as it's available. Let's crush last year's numbers, and I will see you all next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.